We talk about living in 3D, depth, width, and height. But the truth is, most of us are stuck in a 2D loop, not in real time, not in real space. We're lost in the mental reruns of our mind, the future's fears, the past's shame. We're here, but not really. Spiritually, we're not in our bodies, not in this moment, and not in remembrance of God. And that's the link we often miss, because in the Quran, forgetfulness of God and disconnection from the self are directly intertwined. Do not be like those who forget Allah. He made them forget themselves. This verse is more than just theology, it's psychology. When you forget Allah, the source of your being, you start living in borrowed realities, constructed fears, fabricated identities. You start believing the stories in your head are more real than the breath in your chest. And your connection to the real world, the one Allah created, begins to fade. That is the self-forgetting the verse is warning us about. Not the mystical transcendence of spiritual practice, but the soul-numbing ghafla of modern distraction, like sleepwalking. Ask yourself, when you're not fully present in your own body, are you really living in the third dimension, or are you just watching a projection of it? The Quran invites us to wake up, not just to the world around us, but to the world within. Return your vision. Do you see any flaw? Return your vision again. Your sight will return humbled and fatigued. This verse isn't a call to look up the sky. It's more like a mirror. It's about returning your vision, outward and inward, to examine creation, yes, but also to examine yourself. And what will you find? Imperfection, contradictions, wounds, part of yourself you'd rather not see. But the verse doesn't stop at a single glance. It says, return your vision again. Keep looking, keep reflecting, keep refining. And yes, it's exhausting. Your gaze comes back to you humbled and fatigued. But that's not failure. That's the beginning of transformation. To reflect, to see your own flaws, to keep trying anyway, that is the path of growth. That's the practice of remembrance. The Quran draws our awareness inward to the core of who we are, by the soul and the one who proportioned it and inspired it with its right and wrong. This isn't just poetry. It's a blueprint. The Arabic word sawaha, proportioned it, means more than just created. It means balanced, measured, structured with precision. In dimensional terms, it means your soul has form, not just a presence, but geometry, and not just energy, but design. You weren't just born into 3D. You were shaped for it, and shaped for something beyond it. There's architecture in your being, a design that includes intellect and instinct, shadow and light, all wired together. And within that structure, God placed a compass, the ability to recognize what elevates you and what degrades you, what aligns you with your fitrah, and what pulls you off course. But here's the dimension we often forget. You're not just moving through physical space. You're navigating moral and spiritual dimensions too. To remember your soul isn't just to think lofty thoughts. It's to feel your alignment, to sense when you've stepped out of proportion, when something feels off, because it is. And that's where growth happens, not in perfection, but in recalibration, not in staying centered all the time, but in returning again and again to your designed center. When the Quran speaks of the soul's structure and its moral code, it's reminding you you're more than bones and breath. You are a multi-dimensional being, crafted with symmetry and called to align.